Urgent, Birds fan! Look at what just happened. Nobody saw this coming, huh? But first, make sure to subscribe to the channel because we bring you daily videos with the latest Birds news, and don't forget to turn on notifications so you don't miss anything. Eagles urged to decline fifth-year option on $17 million first-round pick. The Philadelphia Eagles have an embarrassment of riches in terms of talent, thanks to years upon year of deft draft moves and free agent signings. On both sides of the ball, the Eagles are stacked. In a perfect world, everybody who deserves to get paid would stay with the team. The reality of the NFL salary cap is no matter how much it continues to grow, there are few teams that can afford to pay multiple players top 10 money at any position. When it comes to beloved defensive tackle and 2022 first-round pick number 13, overall Jordan Davis, the best path for the Eagles would be to decline his fifth-year option for 2026 and let him become an unrestricted free agent after the 2025 season. That move not only clears the way for Davis to sign a deal similar to the four-year, $104 million contract former Eagles defensive lineman Milton Williams signed with the New England Patriots on March 10th, but also for NFL All-Pro defensive tackle Jalen Carter to sign a record-setting contract extension in March 2026. NFL teams have until May 1st to make a decision on the fifth-year option for players from the 2022 draft. In all likelihood, the number for Davis's fifth year could be around $13 million in guaranteed salary. If the Eagles decline Davis' fifth-year option, they will be accepting the possibility of losing another defensive tackle in free agency. If Davis, like Williams, plays himself out of their price range, The Athletic's Brooks Cabana wrote on April 16th, at the very least, if the Eagles don't pick up Davis' fifth-year option, they'll be signaling they're prepared to move on. Davis has more value in locker room than in trade. While Davis might be looked at from the outside as having more trade value than anything else right now, his value to the team in 2025 is worth more than they could get back in a trade. Aside from starting every game the last 2 years, he's one of the most beloved players on the roster, and trading him away before he gets a chance to help defend the Eagles' Super Bowl title could divide the locker room. From a more calculated perspective, getting another season from Davis where he starts every game at the $3 million he's due in the final season of his four-year $17 million rookie contract is the kind of value that fills up group text between NFL executives with hard eyes emojis. Carter could reset market. With contract extension, while Davis and Carter were teammates at Georgia who were taken in the first round in back-to-back years in 2022 and 2023, it's Carter who was the best player on a Super Bowl winning defense in 2024, and will almost certainly reset the market for his position and has an outside chance to become the highest-paid defensive player in NFL history next year. At the very least, Carter should exceed the contract for the current highest-paid interior defensive lineman in the NFL in three-time Super Bowl champion Chris Jones, who signed a 5-year, $158.7 million contract with the Kansas City Chiefs in March 2024 that included $95 million in guaranteed money. Pausing this news just to say that if you want YouTube to keep recommending the latest Eagles Nation news to you, it's very important that you leave a like on this video. Thanks! Now let's get back to the news. Eagles-Giants trade idea sends Dallas Goedert to NY for star $31 million edge rusher. It's no secret that star Philadelphia Eagles tight end Dallas Goedert is on the trade block now, less than a week out from the 2025 NFL Draft. Goedert is seeking a contract extension as he's entering the final year of the $57 million contract he signed with Philly back in 2021. He's out of guaranteed money on his current deal, and given his age and injury history, it's understandable that he'd want some financial security heading into his 30s. Unfortunately, it's bad timing, as GM Howie Roseman and the Eagles have spent the majority of the new league year shedding player salary, especially in future years. Goedert and his $11.7 million cap hit could be the next starting caliber player to be shipped out, similar to safety C.J. Gardner-Johnson and backup quarterback Kenny Pickett earlier this offseason. Eagles insider Anthony DiBona is among the masses who sees Goedert moving on during the draft. He recently proposed a wild trade idea with the NFC East rival New York Giants, with Goedert heading to NY and star edge rusher Kayvon Thibodeau coming back to Philly. Proposed Eagles-Giants trade: Eagles send Dallas Goedert, a 2025 third round Pick 96 and a 2026 fifth-round pick Giants send edge Kayvon Thibodeau and a 2025 fourth-round pick 105. The worst-kept secret in the NFL is that Dallas Goedert is available for trade, Dibona wrote. With many expecting the Giants to select Penn State edge rusher Abdul Carter in the first round, there are thoughts that Kayvon Thibodeau could become available for trade. Surely enough, the Eagles could use another edge rusher and did their homework on Thibodeau ahead of the 2022 NFL Draft. Philadelphia hosted Thibodeau on a top 30 visit, and Roseman has acquired several players in recent years that the team hosted on top 30 visits but wasn't able to draft. Examples of those players include A.J. Brown, C.J. Gardner-Johnson, Kenyon Green, and Dorian Thompson-Robinson. Follow the sporting news on WhatsApp. It's rare to see division rivals work out a trade of this magnitude, but that should never be a deterrent. The Eagles hold pick nose 32 and 64 in the first two rounds, so this hypothetical would hinge on the team missing on its top edge targets early in the draft. They'll need to address that position in some fashion, as the group has been left extremely thin, with Nolan Smith Jr., Jalix Hunt, Azeez Ojulari, and maybe Bryce Huff, the current best options heading into OTAs, while he notched 11.5 sacks. During the 2023 season, Thibodeau hasn't come close to living up to his status as a former number 5 overall pick. His play at the point of attack took a step back in 2024, so the Eagles would be banking on their coach's ability to get the most out of him. This is a tough one to project, as there's a ton of moving parts here that would have to align on draft weekend. But it's a good example of how the Eagles could look to move Goedert if they're not getting their reported asking price of a 2025 fourth-round pick. Mike Mayock's take on the Eagles' 2025 NFL draft options, the former NFL general manager and Philly native weighs in on the Birds. Mike Mayock is one of the foremost authorities when it comes to an eye for talent. The former NFL Network draft expert, Las Vegas Raiders general manager and current national analyst for Westwood One Radio NFL broadcasts, recently took some time with Bleeding Green Nation to discuss where the Eagles stand and who they may pick. With the number 32 overall slot in Thursday's 2025 NFL Draft, first the Eagles have needs on the defensive line, edge, cornerback, safety, and possibly tight end, with the chance Dallas Goedert won't be back for 2025, maybe even traded Thursday night. If Goedert is gone, Grant Calcaterra will be the Eagles' starting tight end after officially starting 14 games for the Eagles last season. C.J. Gardner-Johnson traded. The starting safeties will be Reed Blankenship and Sidney Brown. Can Jalix Hunt step in for Josh Sweat at the edge, and Moro Ojomo, who showed flashes in 2024, start inside in place of free agent loss Milton Williams? Is Kelly Ringo ready to walk into the role of the departed cornerback Darius Slay? Quinion Mitchell is one bona fide starter at corner. Cooper DeJean will hold down the slot. The other outside corner spot is up for grabs. Can Ringo be it? Hopefully. This draft will fill some of those dubious voids. With 20 picks in the next 2 years, 8 this year and 12 next year, including compensatory picks, Eagles general manager Howie Roseman has a lot of ammo to play with here. It is an overabundance of draft picks that he may look to unload to move up. Mayock Howie is probably looking at this that he can move up if he really wants to move up, feeling confident with the comp picks coming. Howie has flexibility. He may use some of that draft capital to move around the board a little bit. When he has that, he's intriguing. For me, looking at the Eagles' needs, they lost 4 starters in defense: Williams, CJ, Sweat, and Slay, and 1 significant player on offense: right guard Mekhi Becton, free agent lost to the Chargers. Howie signed some guys to prove-it deals. I look at the Eagles' roster today. If the right corner was available at 32, that is where I would be leaning. You have Mitchell, but how strongly does Howie feel about Ringo and Eli Ricks? There is a drop-off after the first 6, 7, 8. Guys, if they sit and pick at 32, Travis Hunter, CB Colorado will be gone, Jody Barron, CB Texas will be gone, Will Johnson, CB Michigan will be gone, and maybe Max Hairston, CB Kentucky. The 4 guys I would be looking at there would be Hairston, Trey, Amos from Ole Miss, Azariah Thomas from Florida State, and Siobhan Revel from East Carolina. Out of that group, one or of them will still be there. Then you look at the edge rushers. The Eagles have undersized edge rushers. Mayock sees the Eagles looking at a bigger body there, if available. Possibilities include Georgia's Michael Williams, Texas A&M's Shemar Stewart, Tennessee's James Pierce, Marshall's Mike Green, and Boston College's Donovan Ezirwaku, who is originally from South Jersey playing for Williamstown High School. Mayock. If the Eagles go safety, the guy I love is Malachi Starks from Georgia. I don't think he will get to 32, but the pairing of him and Cooper DeJean would be really cool. I don't see the value at other safeties this year. The defensive tackle position is really deep. It lessens the need to get one in the first round. But you can get a good one in the first round. If a Walter Nolan, Mississippi, or a Derek Harmon, Oregon were there, they would be really good value. From a defensive perspective, Howie will have a good bunch to choose from. On the flip side, Howie will look at the big picture if his pool of players gets wiped out. But I like a interior O-line Gray Zabel from North Dakota State was there. And I kind of like Arian Tyers Rioti Minnesota more than most people. And on the skill side, Emeka Egbuka WR Ohio State could be there. Luther Burden WR Missouri, and tight end Mason Taylor LSU, who I think is undervalued and who I think is a first-round pick all day long. If Mason Taylor was there, if your defensive board is wiped out, he could be there. He started as a freshman and caught a pass that beat Alabama. I think Taylor 65, 255 will be there at 32. NFL Insider shuts down wild Patriots-Eagles trade rumor. The New England Patriots are in the market for wide receiver help. From veteran free agents to young draft picks or trade targets, nearly every receiver has been connected to the Patriots in some way. One of the latest rumors had gained traction over the weekend, but was shut down completely Monday morning by a well-respected NFL insider. According to ESPN NFL insider Adam Schefter, the Philadelphia Eagles have not and will not consider trading superstar wide receiver A.J. Brown, despite the trade rumors. Schefter laid it out clearly in the article, contrary to internet speculation, the Eagles are not trading A.J. Brown. The star wide receiver signed a 3-year extension a year ago this week. A large reason why these rumors began spreading was due to the WEEI 93 7FM radio show, WEEI Afternoons, having Paul Fitzgerald from the Townie News in Massachusetts on discussing a trade rumor he heard. Breaking news. A reliable source tells Fitzy GFY if Abdul Carter falls to the Patriots at 4, the Philadelphia Eagles could trade A.J. Brown to New England to move up and take the star pass rusher pick. Twitter. ComSO05 as JB9ZB WEEI Afternoons, WEEI Afternoons. April 18, 2025, Fitzgerald proposed this trade rumor backed by a highly reliable source that had just called him, with a trade scenario that would be a major blockbuster on draft night. It would have the Eagles sending Brown and draft pick compensation to the Patriots and getting the 4th overall pick in return, with the caveat that Penn State edge rusher Abdul Carter was still on the board. The rumor spread through both fan bases, and for good reason. Brown is among the best wide receivers in the NFL, and he'd be a massive addition for the Patriots offense. The 3-time Pro Bowler and Super Bowl champion was rumored to be on the move, but Schefter shut those rumors down, completely, closing the door on any potential Brown trade. Schefter shutting this rumor down shouldn't have needed to happen for talks to quiet down. If the Eagles did trade Brown, they would be left with nearly $59 million in dead money, with nowhere near that number in saving. It was incredibly unrealistic to begin with, but the contract alone is enough to stop any trade from happening. There are plenty of ways that Mike Vrabel can add to the wide receiver room in New England. But after Schefter shut down the Brown trade rumors, the Patriots fans will have to look elsewhere for their future number 1 wide receiver. And now, Birds fan, I want to hear from you. What's your opinion on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I don't know if you know this, but your opinion matters a lot for Birds. He'll be back any moment with more Eagles Nation news. Fly, Eagles, fly.